Apea, same question really. What was all the ruckus about? You supported the rationalization.
Yeah.
Yes, what are your reasons?
Thank you very much, and I want to thank my brother. I want to start from where he has actually stopped, about the success of coffee being a UCDA wholesomely kind of thing. But I want to reiterate that coffee has a whole value chain. So you cannot isolate only one player as the one who has achieved everything. You have a farmer who has his farm and produces and takes care of the farm. You have the traders who actually trade on this coffee. And for you to say that all the export, all the revenue is actually UCDA, I think that is not being kind of evidence-based, based on what we know and what we see. The other thing is that UCDA is not a trading company. And everything that UCDA does on behalf of government. The argument of accreditation is actually disturbing, because every accreditation, and it is not only in coffee, all the other, for example, fish. I come from a fishing community, and our fish has to be accredited by the Department of Fisheries in Ministry of Agriculture. That is when, because at one point our fish was actually rejected. So for us to sit here and really, woodwink the whole country that is only UCDA accredited, all accreditation is done on behalf of the government of Uganda. And it is the government of Uganda that has a liberty to appoint either a department or agency or a ministry. And I think I sit with him in the budget committee that we are always struggling to raise money to actually pay for our membership in some of these organizations. And also this argument that there's going to be uncertainty, there's going to affect the market. I think we are all students of economics at one point, that markets globally is determined by the forces of supply and demand. Accreditation is just one of the requirements, but we can't say that without UCDA there's uncertainty. So I really wanted to do that. Now, on the fracas you saw in Parliament today, I think we are missing out on the argument of what is actually rationalization and what are the basic principles that government is trying to do to reorganize the agricultural value chain so that not only coffee, but all the crops are actually addressed. Now, rationalization is really, from the word, is being rational. It's common sense that government has sat back and said, wait a minute, I have so many of these agencies. Yes, efficiency has been achieved, but it's a high time that they come back with all the expertise in the mother ministry. By the way, this UCDA is supervised by the Ministry of Agriculture. They are not on their own. Everything that they do is supervised by the ministry.
Maybe the question some people would want to ask is, what was the thinking in the early 1990s when some of these agencies were created?
No.
Have the factors that led to the creation of UCDA, for example, have they been dealt with to now think about bringing it back into the mother ministry? And you'd say the same for Dairy Development Authority, you'd say the same for Uganda National Roads Authority, you'd say the same for these many other agencies.
Countries well over undergo policy changes. And in 1991, the policy of government at that time was to establish specific agencies for these crops. Down the road, 31 years down the road, and actually, by the way, for the first time, the opposition has given a vote of confidence to government of Uganda by the fact that they accept that there's efficiency, UCDA is doing very well. I hope that they continue like that in all the other sectors, because that is a vote of confidence that actually the government of Uganda is doing the right thing. So the issue of 31 years down the road, government has sat back and said, we are going to do a policy revision and mainstream all these agencies in ministries to enhance effective and efficient service delivery. And the other aspect, that revenue and livelihoods, again, the fishing community houses 11 million people who survive on the fish value chain. But the government has never established a fish authority. The revenue aspect, I have data here, and my colleague already usually bring a lot of data on the. At the moment, milk, dairy sector contributes 6.5% to the GDP. Fish contributes 3% to the GDP. And coffee contributes 1.5%. But my colleagues in parliament today were painting this picture that it is coffee, which is really, without coffee, livelihoods. Come on, we have very many livelihoods affected by very many value chains. And we are saying the ministry constitutional mandate under the Constitution of Uganda, the Local Government Act, mandates the Ministry of Agriculture to regulate, to supervise, to monitor, and to ensure quality and compliance. Now, those are the same roles that UCDA does. And government is saying, come back and be a directorate supervised by the ministry. And by the way, the rationalization process which is going on, when I hear no UCDA has authority, and maybe the board, but all the functions and the staff and the experts of all these agencies, not only UCDA, will go back to the ministry and they will continue doing the same work. But the impression we are creating in the country is that it's going to be abolished, and some of them maybe have areas they will not be paid and they will lose employment. No. One of the issues of rationalization that I really applaud the government on is that we want to harmonize the public sector. Why would a staff in an agency earn 40 million? And in the main ministry, somebody is earning 1.5. Government wants to harmonize, and it is one of the core principles of rationalization that public service will have to harmonize all these government structures and let everybody work at the same level and be remunerated at the same or for the same work.
We'll come back and